Good morning, darling. No, 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 no. Don't get up. I brought you coffee and a croissant. I do this every morning for Constance.
Oh God. Never. Not once.
Isn't that? She plucked this for me this morning. The reason I'm half dressed here is because the day is has been turned topsy turvy because I've got someone coming in to film an interview, and we're going to a park, and who knows? We're going to talk about tarot, and so I got his plane comes in right at 10 o'clock, and well, anyway, and so I'm in my dressing gown, but I wanted to get our exorcism installment done. So today we'll call this my magical vestment, Milo the White. Anyway, we had sort of a Mercury retrograde-ish kind of a technical problem with my telephone broadcast yesterday. I had to do it in two parts. I hope you at least got most of that. And today we're going to do part 3 of the exorcism of Our Lady of Sorrows from the classic book, Low Magic. It's all in your head. You just have no idea how big your head is. And we left off yesterday with me choosing the name of the spirit that's tormenting the school, or literally inventing the name of a single spiritual entity that is a conglomerate of all the little spiritual pain in the asses that were tormenting the school. So we won't rehash that. But I'll just back up one paragraph. I was to do something that I'd never done before, even in my past capacity as an exorcist. This time I would formally conjure the spirit at one location, my home, then without dismissing it from the triangle and without stepping out of the protective precincts of my circle, I would transform my activated temple, including myself and the circle. Yeah. I transport myself and the circle and the triangle to another location. Our Lady of Sorrows High School. There in the middle of the night, I would resume the operation and proceed with the exorcism. I will now describe how it was done. Part 3, Preliminary Evocation. The little epigram is a quote from Aleister Crowley and his Liber Astarte. For his robe, hath he not a night dress? For his instrument, a walking stick? For his suffumigations, a burning match? For his libation, a glass of water? I'm afraid the following description of my hurriedly composed extempore evocation of the demon Slug will be somewhat of a disappointment to magicians and would-be magicians who are enraptured by the glamour of the elaborate trappings of the ancient art of evocation. I assure you that in the last 35 years I have on many occasions taken great pains to adorn myself with the most proper vestments, arm myself with the most proper weapons, and erect the most proper pieces of furniture, temple furniture, including a most proper circle and triangle, festooned with the most proper divine names and words of power. The essence of the structure is hardwired in my psyche, and I dare say I could reconstruct the essential setup in my dreams. Now that I think of it, I have on occasion done just that. For this working, however, I needed to operate quickly and under extraordinary conditions. My working area and weapons, by necessity, needed to be Spartan and portable. These are the consecrated magical items I used on this occasion. Now, I got a footnote about consecration, and I'm going to read it. The magician consecrates each of his or her magical tools in a separate ceremony that takes the object through a series of steps that largely mirror the landmarks of the ritual of initiation. The object is treated as the candidate. It is banished, purified, and charged with its specific duty, then anointed with the holy oil and dedicated exclusively for magical purposes. All the times I used to evoke spirits, no matter how simple or improvised they may be, have been so consecrated. Okay. For this working, here's the weapons I used. The Spartan weapons. A wand of almond wood, 16 inches in length. A silken cord approximately 11 feet long. When the ends are tied together and is laid on the floor, it forms a circle approximately 3.5 inches in diameter. A carpenter's segmented rule, which when its segments are fully extended, then folded in 3 equal segments, form a perfect triangle of 22 inches per side. I posted a picture of this morning on my Facebook page. A copper medallion with chain bearing the seal of Slug on the front and the pentagram of Solomon on the back. The post-it note with the image of the seal of Slug within a triangle. A clip-on juror's badge I once accidentally wore home from jury duty. To this ill-gotten prize I glued a paper image of the hexagram of Solomon. The hexagram is clipped to my robe to display to the spirit that I have made an unbreakable link with the macrocosmic deity and that I am operating under the auspices of the Most High. For the evocation ceremony itself, I wore a purple yarmulke on my head and my plain black robe over which I hung my bishop's stole, a long wide band of richly embroidered material that hangs around the back of the neck and falls over the front of my body. My stole displays on its wide red and gold bands images of the Greek cross, the eye in the triangle, the descending dove, and Holy Grail. Later, for the exorcism at the school, I would wear the yarmulke and the stole over street clothes, black slacks, white shirt, and a plain black tie. I quickly cleared a space on the floor in my office, itself a Herculean labor akin to that of cleaning the Augean stables. I'm not exaggerating. I wouldn't show you a picture of my office at the moment. I banished and purified the temple pretty much as I described in chapter 6. I unfolded and arranged the carpenter's rule to form a triangle and placed it on the floor. I put the post-it note pad bearing the sigil of the spirit in the center of the triangle. Please remember the image on the post-it note also contains a triangle. within which the sigil of the demon is drawn. I placed a stick of burning incense in a small incense burner in the triangle. Excuse me for a second. My eyes have just done a weird thing. And if they don't clear up, I'm going to have to call it a day. Excuse me while I try to uncross my eyes here. Let's see if I can continue. Gee, that's never happened in my whole life. Okay. I place a stick of burning incense in a small burner in the triangle next to the sigil. I tied together the ends of the silk cord and arranged it on the floor to form a crude circle. My temple was ready. I sat down in the circle, wand in hand. I took a moment to gaze into the triangle at the yellow post-it note sigil of Slug. Everything looked comically serene. The demon sigil resting there next to the stick of burning incense, its tiny red coal politely spitting up an undulating serpent of smoke. I closed my eyes and proceeded to mentally chant my Ganesha mantra and visualize the cosmic banishing invocation dance I describe in chapter 11. As always, the exercise did its magic. In a few moments, I was infinitely centered. I opened my eyes with the realization that, contrary to all appearances, there was no outside of myself. That I was one and the same with the great G. That's comparable to the invocation. Once thus firmly connected with the above, I proceeded to connect with the below. I aimed my wand directly at the spirit sigil and conjured Slug into the triangle. Most modern Solomonic magicians use the Lesser Key of Solomon as their guidebook and script for evoking spirits. It is filled with page after page of addresses, conjuration, cures, and greater curses designed, not cures, curses, and greater curses designed to cajole, threaten, or otherwise terrorize the unwilling spirit into the triangle. I believe, however, that these hypnotic and rambling speeches do not really serve to bamboozle the spirit into the triangle, but rather are designed to bamboozle the magician into confidently believing that he or she has the full authority, power, and ability to do it. That afternoon, my conjuration was extremely loud and very, very brief. Slug, come! I was oddly awakened by the sound of my own words. It was though I had commanded every dog in the universe to sit, and they had no choice but to obey. It must have been pretty loud because a bird that had been minding its own business outside my office window was startled into flight. The sound of its fluttering wings instantly summoned into the triangle of my mind's eye the image of a huge Norwegian magpie. Again, I was surprised to the point of distraction. I have seen these marvelous birds many times on my visits to Norway and England. They are more audacious and mischievous than crows or ravens, and because of their thieving habits and reputation for eating the eggs and babies of other birds, they are held in superstitious awe by many European cultures. In England, the appearance of a single magpie is an omen of great evil, that can only be warded off by respectfully saluting the solitary bird. "I am here," it squawked. "I salute you," I answered. Such conversational exchanges with demons are difficult to describe because the answers from the spirits enter the mind of the magician on the same brain wave that carries the question. The bird cocked its head to the side and dipped a quick bow of acknowledgement. I held up the copper medallion and showed the spirit its sigil. "Do you see this?" "I see it." "What is it?" "My mark," it answered coldly. I turned the medallion around and showed Slug the pentagram of Solomon. "Do you see this?" "I see it." "What is it?" "The mark that binds me." I held up the juror's badge with the hexagram of Solomon glued on it. "Do you see this?" "I see it." "What is it?" "The mark that binds you," it said sarcastically. These answers satisfied me. It was now time to put the operation on ice. "You will remain in the triangle. I will visit you again very soon. Do you understand?" "I understand." "Swear it." Then, as much as a talking bird can, it cleared its throat and said, "I swear I will remain in the triangle." Without further conversation or ceremony, I stood up within the circle, removed my yarmulke, stole, and stripped off my robe. Then I carefully gathered around me the silken cord of my circle and wrapped it tightly around my naked body and tied it securely in place. I would not take off the medallion or leave this circle until the exorcism was completed. And that's the end of part 3. We'll do part 4 tomorrow. We'll actually go to the school and talk with Sister Martha. Okay, I know that's pretty short, and I'm having a strange eyeball thing. I hope I'm not seriously ill. If I am, I'm already in my pajamas. But anyway, until tomorrow, hopefully, I will see you. Continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.